Good morning, Katie. Is there any chance I could speak to the Honourable Minister, Greg Hunt?
No, he's up in Canberra because Parliament is sitting this week.
Oh, they're back to sitting. Oh, damn. I don't suppose
Can I help you with something?
What's your position there?
I'm one of his electorate officers.
Okay, look, I'll just put his... I'll ask you some questions. I'm concerned, of course, with this pandemic that we have been having for, 3-4 months. My concern is that I'm looking at the website, the Australian official website for, all the statistics, and I've noticed that it's been 102 people have died, and it's been that figure for like 2 weeks, and it hasn't changed. Actually, it has changed. I tell a lie. It was 103 2 weeks ago. But they dropped the down one because a 30-year-old in Queensland that they tried to make out to be COVID-19 wasn't COVID-19. But the question is, we had massive protests 9 days ago with thousands of people in every state virtually against this social distancing, and no one has died from it or been affected by it. And not only that, we've had protests here in Melbourne previously, not the same numbers, but no social distancing, but yet... no one's dying from it, but yet I have to stand in a supermarket queue 6 foot away from someone for a few minutes because of social distancing that never been proven scientifically to work, and where it's come from is beyond me. But so can you explain how they allow protesters and say allow it, nothing's come of it, and yet our economy, our lives have been virtually destroyed. Kids can't go to school. No sport, no gymnasium, no going to bars, no playing golf. I'm just staggered at what's going on here. This should be asked a question to the Health Minister, but what's your response to that?
Whereabouts do you live, sir?
I'm in Melbourne somewhere, yeah.
So you're not one of Greg's constituents?
Oh, not really, no.
No, okay. Well, it's more health related, but what I will just say is that the protests were not, if you recall, both all the state health ministers, federal health ministers were all advising do not attend, do not go, and these people just decided to do it anyway, against all the health advice.
Yeah, that's not the question, no, keep going.
Well, what's the question?
The result of it is that nothing's happened, and yet...
Well, we don't know, you've got to wait 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks, so we've got another 5 days. And
yes,
supposedly one guy got tested with coronavirus the day before. Yet he's wearing a mask, and everyone else is wearing a mask, and they're concerned that it's going to spread, even though you're wearing a mask. So whoever wears a mask, it's useless. But just go back to the 102. I'm looking at the chart now. No one under 50 has died in Australia in 5.5 months.
Yes, that's correct.
That's 80% of the population, which is 20 million people. For 20 million people, it's had zero effect on them in 5.5 months, and yet our lives have been destroyed. 20 million people, and I'll tell a lie, there's one person under 50 who happens to be a 42-year-old, and that is another joke. April 17th, he's not even an Australian. He's from a cruise ship, the Artania, supposedly suffered coronavirus there, and was taken off and died in the hospital a day or two later. Why is he a statistic as an Australian when he doesn't even belong to Australia? Are they that desperate to get figures to use someone that's a Filipino that's not even an Australian and supposedly caught this on a cruise ship? So we'll just eliminate that. There's no one under 50. So why do kids have to be locked up in schools when none of them are affected? Because we know they don't have underlying health conditions, because the only people that die in this, 90% of them, are either from a cruise ship or a plane or in a nursing home aged over 80, or 20% are over 90. How people cannot see that this is all an absolute scam is beyond me, and I'm saying that. My life has been destroyed. I've lost my business. I can't even visit people in hospital. I can't associate with friends. I can't have social interaction with people. I can't go to the football.
Why?
Well, all right, it's easing now, but go back the last 3 months. It's been ridiculous. I got a
Well,
friend who died from
protecting lives,
cancer.
so you look what's happening all over the world.
Don't give me a look what's happening over the world. It's a scam. The numbers are all
It's
fudged.
not a scam, sir. No. We'll have to agree to disagree. You have a lovely day.
Don't worry about going over the world. What? Oh, yeah. The usual bullshit. What's happening over the world. See? They always come back with what's happening over the world. Bullshit. What's happening over the world. It's a scam. She didn't like that. So here's the Australian Government Department of Health. A corona website, 14th of June. Just going to scroll down to here. 102 deaths. Has not changed in 2 weeks. Or when I explained before, it was 103 2 weeks ago, where they tried to fudge a 30-year-old in Queensland with coronavirus, but then they had to take that back because it was all a lie. It was a scam. Never died from coronavirus, had multiple health issues. So there it is. No one has died in 2 weeks. 3 supposedly in intensive care, 16 only in all the hospitals throughout Australia. Once again, no one has died in the Northern Territory, where it's highly populated by Aboriginals living in poor conditions. And here you can see 1 person under 50. 1 person under 50, 2 under 60. And as I mentioned, the majority of people are elderly. And let's just look at this 1 person under 50. Okay, this goes back nearly 2 months, 17th of April. Tony, cruise ship crewman in his 40s, becomes youngest person in Australia to die from corona BS. That's how desperate they are. Have to use this cruise ship bullshit. A 42-year-old man who was a crew member of the cruise ship Atania has died in the Perth hospital, becoming the 7th corona BS death recorded in WA and the youngest person to die of the virus in the country. The man, unnamed of course, from the Philippines, died last night in the Royal Perth Hospital. He is the youngest person in Australia to die from corona BS. Where's his name? You can make up any bullshit. Anyone from overseas. No one's going to question it. No one knows who this guy is. Did someone actually die? Who knows? Most likely not. They could just make up anything they like. 42-year-old. Bullshit. West Australian Health Minister Roger Cook said the man was put in touch with his family before he died. His family have been notified and were put in contact with that crew member via translators. Bullshit. They were able to reach out to him in his dying days. All this, my thoughts and sympathies are with his family, just to make it look real. Tony has been docked at Fremantle Port for weeks and has been at the centre of a standoff. Goes here. Victim had a job of a lifetime. Garbage, but get this. Victim had other health issues. The Tony's captain, Morton Hanson, expressed his sadness at the passing of his crew member, telling 6BR Radio in Perth, the man suffered from other health issues. Yeah, that's what he died from. Of course, that's what we always hear. Other health issues. He didn't die from any COVID-19. Yeah, they tested him with the bullshit test and said, yeah, he's got it. Let's just label him as not only a COVID death, but an Australian death. He's not even Australian. Not even Australian, but he's gone off the ship into a hospital and died. So let's just list him as an Australian death. That's how desperate they are. So take away this 42-year-old. Not one single person under 50 has died in Australia. That's 80% of the population, as I mentioned to that person who politely hung up on me. 80%, which is 20 million out of 25 million, zero effect, and yet our lives have been destroyed by criminals who have, been behind this scam. Criminals who have destroyed children's lives, family lives, suicides, domestic violence, mental issues, you name it, health issues, all because of this scam. No one under 50 has died because they cannot get young people to fake their deaths. They can get older people with serious health conditions, underlying health conditions, use them as a supposed COVID-19 deaths, because as we know, I keep stressing, people may die with coronavirus, but they do not die from coronavirus.